Lost media is a genre that includes older, forgotten, or very limited documentation of pieces of media. It is called lost since there are almost no documentation or evidence, and the associated pieces are not available for public viewing. An example of lost media is the famously written Doctor Who tapes that were discarded in a fire. These episodes are now completely lost since home recording was minimal to non-existent, and the BBC burned them thinking there was at least one backup copy somewhere else. These episodes can now never be seen again due to this. Some of these episodes, however, they luckily had their audio saved, like the Christmas episode. So due to the audio being saved, it was one of the only ways it is able to be known it existed in the first place. Now that we know what lost media is, there's a specific piece of the genre that, if it worked out, would have completely changed the way employees would be taught everywhere. The ECDP and eSmart game cartridges were these important pieces of media. While the ECDP and eSmart game cartridges were a project created by McDonald's and Nintendo back in 2009 for McDonald's stores in Japan. These game cartridges were distributed to employees with an accompanied DSi, branded with the McDonald's logo. These games were used for virtually training employees instead of training them with a person in the restaurant. There were two big parts to this game: the quizzes and the simulated experience of the jobs an employee would have had, like cooking French fries, making burgers, and the important areas of the inside of a store. These simulations were usually first, and then after that, the quizzes would be used to see how much the employee learned and if they passed the exam. This would all be logged by a manager with a game cartridge through wireless connection to other profiles. Most importantly, besides the game itself, it had a special way of letting employees actually play the game and to have people not associated with McDonald's not play it. A specific 6-digit code that they had to enter correctly, or else you could not play the game. This goal that they had, McDonald's and Nintendo, was to be using the system everywhere in Japan for all McDonald's stores, all 3,400 of them, by the end of 2010. Although it is unknown if that actually occurred, there is no known documentation on how well the game worked on training employees, as well as how long the system was used until it was discarded. There are rumors there were plans to bring this system to Canada, but this has never been confirmed nor denied. In France, there was a similar idea to the ECDP and eSmart games for tablets, but there's little to no documentation on this. Continuing the tablet idea, Japan was considering continuing the ECDP game for iPads, but there's very little documentation to this as well. The reason why ECDP/eSmart project was terminated was how it could not update for new appliances and systems the McDonald's store got, which made the game obsolete after a period of time. The employees were told to send back their cartridges and consoles to Nintendo to be destroyed, but some held on to their McDonald's DSIs and ECDP/eSmart cartridges and passcodes, which led the search for this lost piece of media. YouTube really helped the search for ECDP and eSmart, with many prominent names in the lost media community boosting the search signal. The pandemic also helped out with this, since the people got to searching online for this game since they could not go outside, they had the time. This proved fruitful, since this led to both versions of the game being found. The first, ECDP, being found in a playable form in 2020. As a side note, it originally was found much earlier than that, around 2019. The issue was, though, the person who had gotten the cartridge and bought it had no record or any information on the passcode that was used to enter to actually play the games. So without that, there was no way to even play the game. And just 2 weeks ago, eSmart was found in 2022. These were promptly put online, allowing everyone to play this secretive game. Now, People have created Discord for this game, and since then, many more discoveries have been found, like a kid's version of this game that was once downloadable, and English text in the files for the ECDP game, a game completely in Japanese, implying that there were tests for the game in other countries that use English as a prominent language, which can support the possibility that the game was tested in Canada. But no official English cartridges have ever been seen, yet alone found. Even though both of the different cartridges have been found, there are still new discoveries being found to this day in the files of these games, as well as more information and plans from when the project was in full swing, showing that there is still more of this project that is yet to be found.